19th to the 10th, 2025, recording Cimmeria, Land of Dark Deep Night, Chapter 1, Lookout. The Yglofian mountains rose above the land like circling giants of blue-mantled steel to the north of Cimmeria, gleaming with ice and snow as they pierced through the dark rain-laden sky. The meandering dark wisps of everlasting clouds gently rolled above the encamped lookouts. 4 men perched high upon a sheer hilltop, 50 feet above the canopy of the forest below. From their vantage point, the Cimmerians could see far and wide across the valley. They could see the forming, shifting shapes of clouds as they danced above them, also reflected on the valley floor below. Cuchulainn peered from their perch towards Cromlock, their settlement, as the other warriors rested. The moonlight rays slithered and danced across the dark valley floor, illuminating patches of tilled land, open grasslands covered in snow. So calm now the skies, but when the Cimmerian god Crom awakens atop his mountain peak, he blows the thunder and lightning to enrage the sky gods. Then booms laughter of triumph to goad them in defiance. Cimmerians are taught from a young age to worship their god Crom from the elders of the tribe, passed down through generations. They believe their god Crom sits upon the highest mountaintop in the judgment of their daily toil with his land, breathing life into new foundlings of the Cimmerians at birth. As the watchers looked out from their concealed sheer hilltop for encroachment into their lands from the Vanir further north, their sworn enemy, they see the falling dusk dance across the land towards their home settlement. The steady stream of torches begin to flame in procession, like a winding snake on the dark valley floor below, a few miles away from their position. The fur tents can be clearly seen darted around the centre of the valley, behind a large stockade of timber. The hunters from their perch, set high up on the hill to the north of the settlement, could see that their fellow tribesmen were heading towards the large central tent, carrying their night torches, no doubt for one of their many gatherings to discuss the harsh winter threatening their land and people. Cuchulainn sat with his legs dangling nonchalantly over the ledge, which fell 50 feet downwards into the darkness of the forest canopy below. The land stretched for miles on either side where the 4 men were perched. He was enjoying the cold wisps of mountain air in his lungs, inhaling deep breaths of cold, holding it, savouring his life, then exhaling out slowly. "Ah, this is the life," he whispered aloud, then went back to slowly sharpening his axe head. Lion broke the silence of the night. "You're going to thin that blade too much, Chew. No doubt dreaming of using it on some Vanir dogs, eh?" He let out a chuckle, then persisted in finding some comfort in the cold, damp foliage under him, wrapping his fur cloak tight for some heat for his old bones. He knew Cuchulainn the hound would never sleep while on lookout duty. Oh no, so took advantage of his older years to get some shut-eye. Cuchulainn ignored him and continued inspecting the head of his axe, tilting it to the moon and watching the sparkles dance on the edge of the blade. He stopped suddenly, his sharpening stone hand motionless, turning his head slightly to the right, listening with his eyes shut intently. Was it the wind, or a wild animal below in the forest moving with speed? He thought. Then a blinding flash of bright red light lit the canopy to his right. Then a scream broke above the roar of the wind, only Cuchulainn hearing it distinctly from his vantage point near the edge. Then another blinding flash of red, closer. Another scream arose louder this time, blood-curdling, carried by the wind towards him. At least a mile away, thought Cuchulainn, close enough to the settlement to cause him concern. He knew it was time to act. He rose slowly, listening intently while placing his axe in its leather holder without looking. A large flash of red light lit the canopy again below. It was heading towards the settlement for sure, he thought. Was it the last party of Cimmerian raiders sent north, returning, maybe pursued by Vanir warriors with flame arrows? Cuchulainn turned to his resting comrades. "Wait, you fools! We have invaders!" The other three huntsmen stirred swiftly up, ready for battle, but startled somewhat, their blades and shields in hand. "What is it, Hound? Is this for real this time, or another of your hunches?" Cuchulainn stared fiercely in their direction. Even in the thick underbrush of the hilltop, he knew exactly where Brian was standing in the dark foliage. He shuddered, not sure if it was the cold or Cuchulainn's stare that chilled him. Cuchulainn did not speak a word, and from Brian's viewpoint, it simply looked like he dropped off the edge of the plateau, out of sight. Brian looked over his shoulder behind into the darkness. "Torrin, light that damned alarm fire fast, boy." Torrin quickly searched for his flint and stone in his pouch, then began to spark the embers to life at his feet. "Follow after us, boy," Brian blurted. "Only when that fire is roaring like a witch's ass do you follow us." Torrin nodded and carried on fanning the sparks of tinder with his shield. Brian and Corinth followed after Cuchulainn, dropping off the sheer side of the hilltop into the darkness below. If someone was watching from a distance, they would be astonished at how easily they slide, drop from crag to crag, using the tree roots for their controlled descent. They had done this 1,000 times since childhood. They had no fear of heights. To them it was just like climbing a tree. Cimmerian children are taught climbing skills from a very young age, just 6 summers, so as to be able to forage for eggs, honey and herbs during the short summer months. Torrin readied himself to descend, fixing his gear into place and making sure it would not fall out. He peered over the ledge to see his tribesmen disappear into the canopy of the trees. A flash of red to Torrin's right woke him to action. He climbed over the ledge, steadying himself, finding footholds firstly before he descended. He was still new to this lookout point, only the second time he's been here. He lifted his head to look on the roaring fire, satisfied that the settlement would see his handiwork, then prepare for an assault from the Vanir. He descended, picking up speed as he dropped into the darkness of the forest below, hoping to catch up with his tribesmen before they whetted their steel in battle. End of chapter 1.